Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Drop Zone with your boys, Anthony Young and Jeff Walsh. How you doing today, bud?
Not too bad. This past week we had the amazing All-Star game that everybody loves to watch and see in the NBA. That was some riveting stuff once again. Um, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
A little sore. The rain got my body hurting today, but other than that, not too bad.
That's good. That's good.
So, yeah, unfortunately, once again, we're having issues with the group feed. There's a surprise.
I told you. Till the end of time, we will have issues with that thing.
The funny thing is, it says we're live, but there's no feed.
hmm
So yeah, I did everything that I'm supposed to. I just don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if it's a Facebook issue or maybe it's just not taking the stream anymore. I should contact support one day and talk to them about that.
Maybe like, hey, like, what's going on? I think I fixed it, but I don't know what's wrong.
So what we got on the docket for today?
All right, so first we're gonna go into the NFL news and the NBA news that happened this week. And I've had to come up with a kind of fun and unique idea. We're gonna go with the overachieving and sorry, our opinion on our top five overachieving NFL teams and underachieving NFL teams from the past year. Because again, NFL's
Interesting.
done. And the All-Star game for the NBA just happened, so there was really no NBA games other than that this past week. So again, we'll go with I'll keep trying to think of some different ideas and things to talk about with with sports. So yeah,
Well,
that's what we got for the episode today.
now that the All Star game has passed, the NBA is going to be kicking into full swing because now it's getting closer to playoff time. So
hmm
games will be ramped up. But yeah, I mean, we do got baseball starting shortly, which I'm not going to lie. Ever since they did all the rule changes, I really don't follow it anymore because to
I don't
me
either.
it's just turning into a big joke.
hmm Yeah, I don't follow it either. One, there's too many games to follow it consistently, and two,
That's it.
like you said, with all those rule changes, it's kind of tough to watch consistently over and over and over again. So, but yeah, first we'll start off in the NFL news. Yesterday, the Patriots promoted linebackers coach Zach Kerr to full-time defensive coordinator, while Green Bay special teams coordinator Rich Bisaccia stepped down as that coach. Wide receiver Robert Woods retired after 13 seasons in the NFL. He was drafted second. He was drafted in the second round for 41st pick by Buffalo. In 171 games, he had 683 receptions, 8,230 yards. He averaged 12.1 yards per reception, 38 touchdowns, 35 carries for 514 yards and 5 touchdowns, and Super Bowl champ. He signed a one-day contract with the Rams and then retired the next day. Uh, Congrats on their retirement. He was a very solid number 2 wide receiver in his entire career. Battled injuries a lot, but he was what they drafted him as. A very solid receiver that they could rely on, and that's what he was in the NFL. And just congrats on his retirement. I don't know if you have anything to add on that, but again, Robert Woods was pretty much what he was drafted to be, which was about a solid wide receiver.
Um, no, I don't have much on that one. Um, like I said, he wasn't a real big name receiver, but he was a number two receiver. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't have much on it.
Okay. And then the bombshell happened on the 16th of February. Miami started unloading house. They released wide receiver Tyreek Hill and Nick Westbrook and Kine and linebacker Bradley Chubb. Obviously, it is just the big cap thing, and they're just ready to move on and start a new chapter. Um, Again, Tyreek Hill is reported to maybe go back to the Chiefs and just have a reunion there with him and Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelsey, your favorite guy on the planet Earth. Travis Kelsey, we all love Travis Kelsey. I know you do, Tony. Um, uh, this was very shocking to me. If I would have gotten rid of anybody, I would have gotten rid of Tua because I think he was the biggest problem behind Mike McDaniel, and maybe he might have even been the biggest problem. So, I mean, again, this is a lot mainly for the cap hit and cap space part of the league that we live in now. But again, these 3 players aren't to me the problem on the team, but they got rid of them anyway. So Tyreek Hill looking for a new home again, but I am about 95% certain he's going to go back to the Chiefs.
Um, for them to get rid of Tyreek Hill, a lot of it mostly came down to his attitude. We was discussing it, at the beginning of the season last year. Where basically a lot of the players was just saying, just shut up and just play. Stop complaining, stop bitching about everything. Um, with the Tua situation, I think the reason why they didn't release him yet will be because of the cap penalties. Because he does have a bigger contract than Tyreek Hill, so he would carry a bigger cap penalty if they released him now. I expect by March they'll release him because that should lower his cap penalty, or they probably still looking to trade him, which would be even easier for them to do. Well, I mean, I won't say it'd be easy for them to do, but it'll be easier on them financially if they just trade him. So that's why think the reason why Tua is not gone yet. But yeah, the rest of them will basically they're trying to free up money on the cap in the cap space. Um, we'll talk about that soon because Kansas City did a similar thing with Mahomes where they restructured his contract. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on where teams are trying to make financial room so they could bring in free agents and stuff like that, and or re-sign key players to their roster.
I mean, I agree with you on that. Or the other thing with Tua and the Dolphins, maybe management somehow believes in him and thinks that he's the one, and maybe they're just in that denial that they didn't make the right or like that they did make the right choice on draft night and drafting them, and it could just be an ego thing where they're gonna say everybody else is the problem other than Tua until they finally realize to me, Tua is not that amazing of a quarterback as maybe they thought that they were getting. And we could talk about the Pat
Um,
Mahomes and contract restructuring. Oh, sorry,
Hold
go
on
ahead.
for a second. I just want to
Mm.
touch on another thing with the Dolphins. It could be that Miami might feel that Mike McDaniel's wasn't the right coach for Tua, and they're hoping with a different coach he might um, succeed. I mean that's a possibility. I mean we've seen it with Caleb Williams. They get rid of what was it, Nagy, and then Johnson comes in and look what happens. So I mean they might be thinking about that with Tua. Because if we think about it, I mean the offensive line for Miami was atrocious. They did not protect Tua whatsoever. So maybe with a different coach, with a different offensive scheme, you know, at least give him 1 year with this new coach to see if he progresses or regresses.
Yeah, man, I hear you. Maybe it was a coach thing. Um, but getting rid of two of his wide receivers might not help him. But again, Tyreek, maybe some of the noise will die down. Waddle's very more of a quiet, kind of laid back kind of wide receiver. Whereas Tyreek is again, he's more vocal about his thoughts about the team, which again could derail the offense of Tua and lead to not good locker room vibes really. Um, so again, there's probably a ton of reasons why we're just kind of speculating, but again, I mean, I think that even now with this recent Pat Mahomes kind of contract restructuring, Tyreek's probably gonna go back to the Chiefs. This is what the Chiefs did with uh Pat Mahomes' contract. He lowered the salary cap number from 78.2 million to 34.65 million for the upcoming season and creating 43.56 million in salary cap space. So to me, that's a telltale sign that they're going to get somebody big, whether it's Hill or somebody else. Um, which
Now,
again, this team needs because you know what?
do
They
you do
finally
you hold on? Do you really feel that a reunion with Tyreek Hill would be a good thing for Kansas City?
they need something because
Because
that team, I, I, I think finally Pat Mahomes wasn't magical anymore. They were missing something. I don't think Tyreek's gonna fix everything, but it's just gonna give him it. It's gonna give Pat Mahomes comfortability with somebody. That's I understand that they're both coming off of terrible injuries, but I just think he needs something that he's very comfortable with. You can never trust if Rice is gonna stay out of trouble. You can never trust if Hollywood Brown is gonna stay healthy. So right now, honestly, anybody that Pat Mahomes will feel comfortable with and that he could trust in big moments and just another weapon for him out there
well, I mean, he
wouldn't
did
really
have.
be a bad thing.
I mean, he did have Travis Kelsey, but I mean, I can't say any trust Travis Kelsey as much anymore. Um, Probably Xavier Worthy was probably his best trusted receiver when he's not getting hurt by Travis Kelsey.
Hmm.
I'm just thinking that Tyreek Hill going back to Kansas City, I just don't see that as a good fit because now with the emergence of Xavier Worthy, who was a speedster, and you know how Tyreek Hill gets if he doesn't get the ball as much, which is pretty much the reason why he left Kansas City in the first place, because he was sharing so many receptions with Travis Kelsey and the rest of the receiving core. So yeah, he might come. I mean, yeah, he might be the number one option, but with another speed burner and Worthy, I mean, a lot of the plays is designed for Xavier Worthy now.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I don't. To me, it just the way again they've just restructured Mahomes' contract, which is he's to me the best quarterback in the league. Um, and for him to just willingly, you know, lose out on 40 some $1 million this coming year is I'm not saying it's maybe the complete right fit, but it's leaning towards that they're going to do it. And it's funny that I then scroll up on Adam Schefter's Twitter, and you know what? Here we go. An ex-girlfriend of Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashid Rice has filed a civil lawsuit in Texas alleging he repeatedly assaulted her during an 18-month span from 2023 to 2025. Dakota Jones, who said she was pregnant during many of the assaults, is seeking more than $1 million in a lawsuit. So what I just said goes true again because Rishi Rice can never stay out of trouble.
I mean, which I get. Um, I was actually thinking of a better fit for Tyreek Hill. I'm actually thinking of two other places that's not Kansas City. One of
All
them
right,
is going to
go,
shock you.
okay, go ahead. I want to hear him.
New England. Because just think, the problem with the Patriots this season, especially in the Super Bowl, their receivers couldn't get separation. Tyreek Hill could get separation.
Hmm.
With Drake May's playmaking ability, you know, he fits right in with Mahomes and with his scrambling ability and extending plays. That that'll be a nice fit for him. Another spot I was thinking, um, and this is gonna be a long shot because I don't see it ever happen. I was thinking Pittsburgh.
Okay, I mean, I don't know if we have the cap for him. That's the problem. I mean, he would probably need to take a huge cap kind of cut because I know our defense is taking up a lot of our cap space right now, and DK as well.
But just think, DK Metcalf on one side and Tyreek Hill on the other side. Even if you have
So
a
it's definitely
even if you have an average quarterback, I mean, you can't go wrong.
no. I mean, it's definitely good to fantasize about. I would lean more towards the Patriots one. I mean, him and Stephon Diggs. Hey, Diggs again. He stayed quiet all year. He actually went out there and he actually just played football.
On to the end of the
Along,
season, with the bullshit with Cardi B and all that crap.
yeah. But for the most part, he was good. It wasn't,
Yeah,
but like he
he was
wasn't.
quiet for the most season.
What I mean by he was quiet is mean he wasn't complaining about his quarterback. He wasn't complaining about targets and shit. That's what he was always bitching about everywhere else he went.
And he pretty much stayed out of trouble as well.
Hmm. So, but another main problem in the Super Bowl was that their left tackle couldn't block anybody. Like, like he gave up the most pressures in sack in postseason history. Will Campbell. So you know what?
Yeah, that's gonna be something
I
they're gonna have to address in off season.
So again, Ty, yeah, because again, me and you aren't like one of the insiders that know every team's cap space situation,
I
but
mean, I could probably figure it out.
mm,
I mean, I
but
don't think they
again,
fully released it yet because I don't think they um set the cap yet. because usually once they set the cap is when everybody has their cap space, which should be, I think, within a couple of weeks that the cap space
Hmm.
should be set.
Yeah, Tyreek, who knows where he's going to end up? Westbrook and Kine, he's a good about second or third string wide receiver, and someone we haven't even talked about yet, but Bradley Chubb. He's a very decent linebacker or defensive end, wherever they want to put him on defense. He's a very explosive and good uh, player. So any teams that get these three guys are they'll be very lucky because they are very good at what they do and they stick to what they're good at. So while you're looking up salary, if you could find any of it, um, the Seahawks were purchased by Paul Allen in 1997 for $194 million. Who were threatening to move the team to Anaheim, California, which is crazy. And now this is going to be like worth billions because the Seahawks getting sold this week. Um, and what's crazy is that Browns Pro Bowl guard Wyatt Teller, who is scheduled to be a free agent, has obviously announced on Instagram that he will not return to Cleveland and he will now sign somewhere else. So any team will be getting an All Pro lineman in Wyatt Teller. Um, a few other coaching hires. Las Vegas hired former Seattle Seahawks QB coach Andrew Janoko as their offensive coordinator, and then Seattle hired San Francisco tight end coach Brian Tillery as their offensive coordinator. Las Vegas promoted run game coordinator slash defensive line coach Rob Leonard to DC, and Seattle hired former Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator Zach Orr as linebacker coach.
Okay, so um, so for what I found so far, it says the NFL informed clubs today that it's projecting a 2026 salary cap in the range of 301.2 million to 305.7 million per club. That which is a huge jump from last year's, which was only 279.2 million.
Damn.
So yeah, and nearly 100 million than the 208. So yeah, I mean 2022 the cap space the salary cap was 208.2 million. 8 years later, no, 4 years later, it's jumped $100 million. Well, close to 100 million.
It's just absolutely crazy. I mean, it just shows how quick this game is growing. It really does.
So your Steelers actually have the most cap space.
Wow.
You have
I did.
44. You have 44 million in cap space.
That's like just enough to get Tyreek. That is kind of crazy. But I mean, I think he's set of going back to the Chiefs. But I mean, I guess like we'll see. Sport the NFL is a crazy is a
Oh,
crazy sport. Hey, I mean, you
okay.
may not like your boy Roger, but yeah, man, he knows how to make in that money. You
So
can
I
never
got
say
the
that that he doesn't do no he doesn't do that.
so I got the complete list where it's going to show up. I'm going to tell you the cap space. I'm going to tell you the active spending, cap spending, and then the dead money for every team. So the Titans actually have the most. The Titans have 103 million dollars. Their active cap spending is 217 million. They only got 5 million in dead money, which is, I mean, that's pretty damn good. I mean, you got teams that has less than $1 million in dead money, which like the Chargers and the Seahawks. The Raiders have 91 million. They're projected to spend 189 million, but they also got 34 million in dead cap space, dead money.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just mentioned the Chargers. They got their cap space is 82 million. Active cap spending is 222 million, and they got 478,000 in dead money. That's like a rookie or something.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets are at 79 million. Active spending is 155 million, and they got 91 million in dead money. The Commanders, oh my lord, this team is a complete joke. So they got their cap space is 73 million. Their active spending is 244 million, but they also got 12 million in dead cap money. The defending champs, they're going to reload. I mean, they only got 61 million in cap space, and they're only spending 200. They only after spending is 253 million, but the dead money is 483,000. Um, like I said, your Steelers, which I mentioned, was 44. Your active spending is 267, and you got 7 million in dead money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm really not gonna go through all the teams. I'm just gonna go through a couple. My team. We have 5 million in cap space, which they're looking to restructure some contracts to get more money. We also have 296 active spending. We have, it looks like, the second lowest in dead money, 216,000.
Wow. I'll be honest. I expect you guys just to be more than that.
The the Chiefs, I don't think they're gonna be able to get, even with the moves they're making, because there was already 11 million in the red.
So they're about probably what 34 million maybe with the move because they just created about 45 million.
And their active spending is 315 million. I mean, yeah, they only got 215,000 in dead money, which is the lowest. But yeah, I mean, the Cowboys don't have cap space. The Lions don't have cap space. The Packers, Texans, Bears, Saints, Bills, Jaguars, and Vikings are all in the red as of right now. So yeah, like I said, the Titans have the most. Now let's see if they can actually spend that money to turn that team around. Same thing with the Raiders.
I'm gonna go probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Mm. All right, on to the NBA. Um, such a news that just came out in the past few hours. King center Domantas Sabonis underwent season-ending surgery on Wednesday morning to repair a torn meniscus in his left knee. Sabonis rehabbed the meniscus after a tear during the season and tried to play through the injury before having the surgery now. So kind of a big hit there for the Kings. And Orlando Magic forward from Franz Wagner will be sidelined indefinitely after recent tests showed that he requires additional time and rehabilitation for soreness in his left high ankle sprain. So some big hits there. And Kyrie will miss the remainder of this season to continue to recover from his torn ACL that happened last March. He was kind of rehabbing to try and maybe get back a bit sooner than what they expected, but they have thought otherwise than to bring him back, especially with the Mavs kind of not really do much of anything this year. On to the All Star game. Damian Lillard put on another show in the 3-point contest, and he won it. that was probably the most exciting part of the whole All Star weekend. I'll be honest. Um, yeah, again, it was the All Star weekend. I don't know what they got to do to fix it to engage it more. I mean, the dunk contest was kind of a joke once again. But Miami forward Keyshawn Johnson won it. And that's been led to about a joke of a contest. And Anthony Edwards won All Star Game MVP for the whatever I think the USA Stars team that he was on.
I'm not going to lie. I did not watch the All Star Weekend at all. I said I was going to, but when I seen the lineup, and I was like, nope, I'm going to pass. I'm not
I
going
didn't
to waste
watch
my
it at all
time.
either. I watched highlights of it. That was it. I did not watch it live.
I mean, I seen the one highlight of the dunk contest where the guy, I don't know if he missed the rim or what, and landed flat on his back. Yeah, it's a complete joke.
It was, it really is. On February 13th, Chris Paul has officially retired from the NBA after 21 seasons. He was picked fourth overall in 2005 by the New Orleans Hornets. In his career, he averaged about 33 and a half minutes a game, scored about 17 points a game, 9 point. So this is for his career. He averaged about 9 assists a game, 4.4 rebounds, 2 steals, 2.3 turnovers. He shot about 47% from the field, 37 from three, and 87 from the free throw line. He's a 12-time All Star, 6 time Steals champ, a 9 time All Defensive Team, 5 time assist champ, 11 time All NBA, and the Rookie of the Year in 05-06, but never won that ring. I hope that he does become a coach and wins the ring. He, to me, is one of the better players I've ever gotten to watch that never got a ring. Those Clippers teams they were really good with Lob City, but really never made it too far in the playoffs. His best chance was on the Rockets those 2 years against the Golden State Warriors, and we all saw what happened. But yeah, I mean, congrats to him on just such a great career that he had. Um, but again, it would have been good to see him win a ring in his career. But again, he's one of the best point guards of all time, in my opinion.
Um, yeah, I mean, I thought he was retiring at the beginning of the season, and for some reason he didn't. Um, yeah, he would start out his career in New Orleans with the Hornets when they moved from Charlotte to New Orleans. Um, was pretty much a nightmare for him. That was a horrible team. He originally was supposed to have been traded to the Lakers instead of the Clippers, and that move was blocked. So he ended up being on the Clippers, and Paul Gasol ended up going to the Lakers, and that gave Kobe 2 more rings, which probably could have been Chris Paul's 2 rings, if not more. The problem with with him being with the Clippers, yeah, they was fun and entertaining, but I mean, they really didn't have much of a defense outside of DeAndre Jordan blocking shots. But their defense really wasn't that special. It was just fun to watch because of all the lobs that Chris Paul was throwing up to Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, again, I like my two-way players. I mean, he was one of the best kind of savvy steal guys, and he was always just he was an annoying player to play against because he was so smart and he knew the game so well. And the last bit of NBA news is that your Knicks signed former San Antonio forward Jeremy Sohan to a contract. He's a good 3-and-D guy. I think he'll fit your guys' kind of style very well there in New York. Um, almost he's a downgraded version of OG Anunoby for people who don't really know him too well. But that's all the NBA news I got. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that at all.
No, not really.
All right, now into our list. I know people like when we get into our list because again we could have um different opinions or what.
Sometimes
But
we
my first,
match.
mhm, yeah, but my first surprising team is the New England Patriots. I don't think it's really a big shock on that one. I mean, they went 4-13 2 years in a row, and then Mike Vrabel comes in and they make it all the way to the Super Bowl. Um, I thought this team was going to be pretty decent with Mike Vrabel, but I didn't think they were going to be this good. Going 14-3, I understand people are going to say, well, they had like the easiest schedule in the league. I understand that, but they're only playing the schedule that they were handed to at the beginning of the year. They can't do anything about that. They just went out there and played who that they needed to play and be who they needed to beat. Um, I think they're still going to be good this year. A lot of people are saying that they're going to get real scheduled this coming year, and then they're going to fall off, almost like what the Commanders did this past year. I don't think that's going to be true. I think Mike Vrabel's a different coach than the one in Washington. But I mean, to me, that was my almost no doubt number one pick for my most surprising NFL team this past year.
Mine is the Chicago Bears. Um, we literally sat here and said, this team is horrible. I mean, people were saying Caleb Williams should have never been a number one draft pick. Um, I said, with the addition of Ben Johnson, yeah, it didn't start out too pretty, but like I said, I told everybody, just give him time, let him get used to Ben Johnson's system, let Ben Johnson keep working with him, and that team. I mean, they were what 3-14 a year
Oh, yeah,
ago,
they were bad. They were really, really bad.
and they won 13 games this year. So and won the division. Had that incredible playoff run, which I mean, Caleb Williams looked a little like Aaron Rodgers with some of those throws. So I mean, yeah, I'm interested to see what they're gonna do this season coming up. Hopefully they get some more pieces. Um, they need to get a faster start because waiting to the fourth quarter is not going to do it every single game. So that's my overachieving team.
I like that pick. No, number two, I gotta go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Um, I never have any real confidence in Trevor Lawrence. Um, he was in the league for a few years at this point, and I didn't see any really huge signs of like he's going to be that next big guy. And you know what? With the new head coach and Liam Cohen, he brought something out of Trevor Lawrence that we hadn't seen ever. He looked so confident and so free this year. They went 13-4, won the AFC South, um, and they made the playoffs. It was a very tight and consistent game with the Bills that they had and ended up losing. But again, Jags is another team. I just expected them to be at the most maybe 8-9. I did not expect them to be good at all this year. But they proved me wrong, and and that's why I have them at number 2 in my overachieving team.
Um, I do have them on my list, but not at number two. I have the Patriots at number two. I had a lot of questions, with that team. Starting with Stephon Diggs, if he keep, stay out of trouble and keep his mouth shut. I had a couple of questions about Drake Maine. I did have some questions about the offensive line, which ended up rearing his ugly head in the Super Bowl. Well, pretty much during the playoffs period. Um, I didn't have any questions about Mike Vrabel. I just didn't see this team in the first year with him as a head coach to pull off, going to the Super Bowl in his first year. Yeah, most of it was due to the fact that they did have the easiest schedule. But like you said, you only can play the teams that is put in front of you. Um, I'm dying to see what they do this coming season because they are going to have a much harder schedule than they did last year. So yeah, I mean, them going from 4-13 to what 14-3 and winning home field advantage. I mean, that's just. I mean, we nobody saw that.
No, no. My third one, I have them lower because I knew they were already a good team, but with the quarterback they had, I didn't expect them to do this. I went with the Seahawks. They went 14-3 as well. Obviously won the Super Bowl. Sam Darnold was my biggest question mark for the entire team. Of like, how is he going to look? I knew that he looked good last year with the Vikings, and I knew the Seahawks team looked good with with Geno Smith last year. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna fit. Well, let's find out. It fit pretty well. I mean, like you said, it's like the like that defense is like the second coming of the Legion of Boom. Um, and Sam Darnold just played how he needed to. He had that one back game against the Rams or in the season. But other than that, he played some stellar football this past year. And that's why I have them on my surprising team. Again, I knew they were a good team, but to the point of making the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold, I did not expect them to be that good. So that's my number 3 team in the surprising category.
My number three team in the surprising category is the Jacksonville Jaguars. We both, for since we basically started the podcast, have trashed Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it just goes to shows if you have the right coach, you know, you can turn a quarterback career around, and that's pretty much what has happened right now. So yeah, I mean, I didn't expect this team to even have a winning record, let alone win the division and make it in the playoffs.
No, I mean that was like our favorite thing was to shit on Trevor Lawrence and some of the other bad QBs in the league. But again, he turned around with the right quarterback. I have the Bears. I could not obviously not have them on the list. I mean, again, people would comment Jay that we'd have on. He didn't have any comment in them. But me and you kept strong of like, listen, this kid just needs a good coach. He needs someone to lead him, and he wasn't getting that in his first year. I'm like, can we be patient? Can we just be patient with this kid? It was his first year. He had two coaches in 1 year at that point. Like, can we just relax and just let them gel? And and gel they did. I mean, they went 11-6 this past year. Won a playoff game. I mean, this is a very quick turnaround, and it shows Ben Johnson may have been the brains on the Lions because we saw how they did this past year. Um, again, Williams improved, and that honestly entire team improved. Their attitude was so much better. When they got down, they fought. When they had slow starts, they would fight back, which we didn't see in the previous years, under Eberflus and a bunch of other head coaches. So, uh, again, I'm excited to see what they do in year two with these two. And,
Hey,
um,
Brian.
and but yeah, that is my number four pick. I couldn't obviously not have him on this list.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I thought you would have had him higher, but yeah, I mean, that's a good. I mean, either way, they was going to be on a top five list regardless. My fourth team that I had on the list, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is the Indianapolis Colts. I thought for sure this team was just gonna, when they announced Daniel Jones as a starting quarterback, I was like, oh, yep, yeah, yeah, you're gonna have a crappy season. Um, they was doing pretty good up until he got injured. We really can't call them overachieving, but for the time that Daniel Jones was there and before the injury, they were one of the hottest teams in the league. They went eight. Well, they started the season 8-0, and then he got hurt a couple of weeks after, and that team, you know, pretty much what I think they lost every game except one at the end of the season.
It was bad.
So yeah, I mean, again, it goes to shows if you put a coach, a quarterback with a good coach, they could turn the career around. Now, I'm not saying that his career has been turned around, but it looked good.
Mhm. Yeah, you didn't want to admit it, but after every week, you look better and better and better. You're like, I might have to admit it. Damn it. They're on my honorable mentions. I had to go with a team that you called a sleeper team this past year. I'm going with the Panthers. Um, this team really, really shocked me. They won the South. I mean, that's not really anything to brag about because that fucking MC South sucks. But
Yeah.
but listen, they were the laughing stock of that division for the past few years. Um, Bryce Young took a huge step forward. The wide receivers took a huge step forward, and their defense was pretty damn good this year too. They ended up beating the Rams this past year, who was a really good team. Um, again, I'm doing it because you like they're a super team. They're going to be good, and I don't want to say laughed, but I didn't believe you at all, and I was proven wrong again. Um, so you know what? That is why they're in my top five. Surprising. I don't call overachieving list. It's a surprising list. Panthers win 8-9. Didn't expect that. I expect them to win maybe at the most four games. But they look good. They were competitive in a lot of games. So yeah, I'll give them credit and put them in my top five list.
I thought about putting the Panthers in my top five list simply for the fact that I mean we both looked at it as I mean yeah the AFC South is horrible. That would have been the Buccaneers division to win. They should have won it by a landslide, and they didn't. The Bucks fell apart. The Falcons, we don't know what the fuck happened to them. They was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Hmm.
But the team I'm actually going with as a surprising team, even though they still had a losing record, the Saints. I mean, this team, we didn't know who the fuck the quarterback was going to be. we didn't know pretty much about anything with this team, and yeah, they started out kind of rough, but they ended the season fairly. I mean, they still ended up with a losing record, but they was beating teams that they should have got destroyed by. So yeah, that became they are my surprising team. Like I said, I mean, I did have considered the Panthers, but like you said, I already had my set the bar high for the Panthers. So yeah, I mean, I already had them up there as a. I picked them. I think to come in second in the division or come close to winning the division.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I got to go with the Saints. Now, will they continue to improve for next season? I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, they were on a run there with him, or sorry, with Christopher Olave. He was one of the best wide receivers down the stretch of the year. Absolutely balled out. And now into the underwhelming category.
This is going to be a fun list right here.
Now, when I originally made this list, I looked back at it and I had all AFC teams. I was like,
Hmm.
no, there was definitely some NFC teams that missed the bar there. But I'm starting with the AFC. I'm going with the Raiders. I'm going with the Raiders. A lot of noise was happening. That they got Pete Carroll, they got Geno Smith, they got Ashton Genty out of the draft. They had Brock Bowers. They have Max Crosby on defense. A lot of positivity going on, and they, in my opinion, were the most underwhelming team in the NFL. Geno Smith looked like the New York Jets Geno Smith. Uh,
That he did.
this team looked just uncompetitive and uninterested in a lot of games that they played. Pete Carroll made some questionable coaching calls in the ones that they were competitive in, and Max Crosby was the only decent part about that defense. So with all the positives going into this year, and to see how terrible it went, again going just 3-14. So to to me, with all the high hopes I even had for this team, for them to look as bad as if they did this past year, that is why I will have the number one in my underwhelming category.
Um, the team that I have as my number one over underwhelming category. I gotta say it. It's the Buffalo Bills. Yes, I know they went to the playoffs, but this team was set up to. They basically had the road paved for them the minute Pat Mahomes was didn't make it to the Super Bowl playoffs. The minute Pat Mahomes got hurt, and then Lamar Jackson not making it, that should have been the easiest road, and that team just. I I mean, it blew my mind how they still could not make it to the Super Bowl. Yes, I know. Yeah, New England's defense is a very good defense, top, but still, Josh Allen still should have had you know a, way better games than he was playing. There was games where they literally was just playing down to the competition. And if you're a Super Bowl contender team, you can't be doing that. So yeah, I got them as my underwhelming team.
Number two, I'm gonna be harsh. It could be just because I hate them so much. I'm going with the Ravens. Um, they went 8-9. I understand Lamar was out for I think about half the games with the injuries. but they made some very bad calls on offense and defense at times. They should have been running Derrick Henry into the ground with Lamar out, and they weren't. They were at least winning games with Tyler Huntley and stuff. But I mean, I meant with Lamar. For some reason, when Lamar's there, they forget that Derrick Henry's there. But then when Lamar's out, they remember that they have Derrick Henry. They just don't use him well. I don't know what the hell is wrong with them sometimes. Um, but again, I picked them to win the Super Bowl this past year. It hurt me. I mean, I can go
We
back and
both did.
find it. I mean, a lot of teams, or sorry, a lot of people did. Me and you did. We picked them to win the Super Bowl, and for them to not even make the playoffs, be under 500. I understand there's a lot of factors into that. I mean, but this defense that they paid a lot of money to this defense too. People talk about the Steelers. They paid a lot of money into this defense, and it was bad. It was really bad this year. They were giving up tons of points, tons of yards, uh, at times to teams that we didn't think they were going to have issues with. So to me, that is why they're my number two underwhelming team, with all the upside that they had coming into this year and the high hopes for them to not even make the playoffs is very, very underwhelming.
Um, I have them at number two as well. Like I said, we both went into the season with them up there as a top echelon team. We both had them winning the Super Bowl, and yeah, Lamar got hurt, but at that point, that's when you should have been doing nothing but running Derrick Henry. Yeah, I understand. There was a couple of games where Henry had a couple of costly fumbles, but I mean, show me an offensive player that's never fumbled a football. I mean, it does happen from time to time, but yeah, that team just, and with the talent they had on offense, shouldn't have been. No, I mean, even with Lamar hurt, you still should have been at least competitive. And you're right, the defense just wasn't that same defense as we come accustomed to for a Ravens defense. So yeah, that's why I have them at number two.
Number three, I have the Bills. Um, Obviously, definitely could not have on them on this list either. Almost like with the Bears in the overachieving. Um, Bills. I mean, and everything that you said. You know, Mahomes not being there in the playoffs, Lamar not being there in the playoffs, even Joe Burrow not being in the playoffs.
I forgot about Joe Burrow.
I mean, again, like you said, this was kind of a red carpet walk to what should have been a Super Bowl for Josh Allen, and it wasn't. To me, he's now being considered a regular season quarterback. He's being put in that category. I understand in the past maybe his defense cost him a few games there with the Chiefs, but even this year now, he had chances to win a bunch of games, and he just missed out on them because he just missed throws. Um, and this team's run defense was not good whatsoever. That their pass defense was a bit better this year, but their run defense was terrible. Like you said,
Yeah,
they
the
played
run
down the
defense was
teams.
non-existent.
hmm and like I said, they played down the teams that they should have beaten the brakes off of, and they ended up losing one game terribly to the Dolphins at one point.
Ooh,
Um, and just again, just completely underwhelming. That's why they got rid of McDermott. Uh, made a bunch of changes this offseason to maybe fix something, but again, Allen is still the quarterback. I understand they don't really give him too much help. Really, I mean, Shakir's all right. Coleman is a joke, and then they have the three-headed monster with the tight ends, and then James Cook at running back. But so this team to me underachieved. Should have been an easy stamp in the AFC Championship game at least, if not making it to the Super Bowl representing the AFC. So that is my number three. underwhelming team.
My number three team is the Detroit Lions. With the way the Lions were the last two seasons, they gave all indications that this season was going to be their season, even though they did lose Ben Johnson, which shows how much of a big deal that was. Actually, losing Ben Johnson and um, Cromartie both shows. I mean, not Cromartie. He's the head coach of the Jets now.
Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, Aaron Glenn. Losing both of them shows how big of a loss that was for that team because their defense wasn't the same. The offense looked confused, and they just, I mean, yeah, there was no evidence of the Detroit Lions from 2 years ago on this past season.
It's funny, me and you are right in order than everyone because I'm with the Lions as well. That's my number four underwhelming team. Again, you nailed it right on the head. The loss of their OC and DC was more important than we really first imagined. And we thought that Dan Campbell was the mastermind of everything that was going on there. Do I think he's a good coach still? Absolutely, but I think Ben Johnson was the mastermind with his offense. I mean, we saw without him how bad it looked at the beginning of the year, and then Dan Campbell said, "Screw off" to the new OC, and he took the play calling duties.
And the offense did look a little bit better with him calling the plays.
hmm But again, aspirations. I think I said Ravens, Lions in Super Bowl. This, and yeah, I mean that was my thought. But you know what? DC has had other plans. Again, this team just never really got going like we thought they would consistently. So that has to be my number four team. It really does.
Yeah. My fourth team. It's another AFC NFC team. The Buccaneers. I mean, I hate to bash on your boy Baker, but he just didn't look the same this season. Granted, I understand they started the season without Godwin, and I think Mike Evans missed the first couple of games. That team was never fully healthy, but even a season ago, even when that team wasn't healthy, they were still competitive and still winning games. This season, it just wasn't like that. It looks like they just fell apart. Like too much pressure was put on Baker Mayfield to, I feel, try to keep the team in the game because the defense looked a little like they took a step back this year compared to the season before. Um, and with Bucky Irving missing games, it just showed that that team just didn't have enough players, healthy players, to keep them going. So yeah, and we expected them to win the horrible NFC South, which was ended up being won by the Panthers.
I thought about putting them at my number five, but I couldn't do that to Baker. Um, I couldn't do it for the simple fact that the wide receiver injuries were so bad. They started off about 4-0. Mike Evans, I think, then broke his collarbone. Like you said, that they started off the season with no Godwin. And then towards later in the season, their rookie wide receiver, Emeka Ibuka, got injured as well. And at one point, all three of them were out at the same time. So he was thrown to almost nobody. And like you said, this team just kind of derailed with that. Baker started making uh, not good choices out there on the field, which then led them to losing some games. So I couldn't do that to him. But who I can do this to is the Atlanta Falcons. That is my number 5 underwhelming team. Um, they were really bad. Raheem Morris pulled them back all the way, got them to 8-9, and then they fired him. Um, I'm putting them because of just how they've handled their QB situation. It's not so much the result of the season of them finishing 8-9. It's how they got to that result. That you're gonna pay Kirk Cousins all this money to come here. He didn't look fantastic in his first year. They bench him. Michael Penix, I still don't think he's that good. But they have him start this year. Didn't look good at all. Gets injured. Here comes Kirk Cousins in again, and then they start winning. To me, they handled the situation at the QB spot so poorly, which led to them getting 8-9. Which if they just kept with Kirk Cousins, the veteran, who knows how many games they would have won this past year. Defense looked pretty decent. And again, everybody seemed to be playing better with Kirk Cousins out there. Everybody. I mean, Algier, Robinson, Pitts, London, Mooney. Like they had some explosive plays with Kirk Cousins in there, not with Michael Penix in there. So to me, I have to have them at the 5 because all the talent that was there, but they handled the QB situation so poorly, which led to them only going to 8-9, missing the playoffs, and then their head coach gets fired.
Um, yeah, I mean, I consider them at number 5 as well, but I had to go with the team that literally have been the top team in the NFL for 11, pretty much almost 11 years. The Kansas City Chiefs. This team, yeah, we, neither one of us had them in the Super Bowl this year, but we did pick them to be a competitive team and you know either win the division or be one game behind the Broncos for the division. This team was just, I mean, like I said, it started out the minute, and I said this was going to happen, that the minute Travis Kelsey and her announced their engagement, that this team was going to fall apart. And look who's here.
Oh boy, you just said her, and and Jay pops up. Great. What's up,
um,
Jay?
like I said, in the first game of the season, what happened? Travis Kelsey gets Xavier Worthy injured.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this team hasn't looked the same since. I mean, they got destroyed in the Super Bowl the year before. It's almost like they never fixed anything. And yeah, I mean, going from being a Super Bowl team to not making the playoffs, getting your quarterback injured. You got tight ends injuring wide receivers. Um, the defense was the only bright spot of that team, but even they were like, okay, we only could do but so much. They still need to fix that offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I have them as my 5th team on that list.
I mean, I consider them, but to me, I think the NFL's finally caught up with them. And to me, this team the past few years hasn't even been that good. It's just been how magical and how special Pat Mahomes has been,
True.
doing what he's been able to do with the teams he's had. Um, so Jay, to catch you up, we did surprising and underwhelming teams this year. My list for surprising teams. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you had to make that call tonight. For this surprising teams, my list was the Patriots, Jags, Seahawks, Bears, and Panthers. Uh, I be honest, I don't really remember Tony's. He had Bears number one.
Yeah, mine was
You could
Bears, Patriots,
you,
Jacksonville. Oh shit, who's the other two?
you had Saints at five.
Yeah, and
Oh, and the Colts. And the Colts.
Colts.
You had Colts at four. Okay, so his was Bears, Patriots, Jacksonville, Colts, and Saints.
Oh Lord, here we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had them in my own mentions. I had them about six, Jay. But I don't know. Again, Seahawks shocked me. And then underwhelming, I had the Raiders, Ravens, Bills, Lions, and Falcons. Whereas Tony had
The Bills, Ravens,
Bills, Ravens, Lions,
Lions, uh,
Bucks,
Bucks, and Chiefs.
and then the Chiefs. Um, so yeah, I do want to know Jay's thoughts. Jay, where do you think Tyreek Hill is going to end up? We talked about that at the beginning of the show, because the Dolphins have obviously released him. Um, so Tony said his two teams that he would kind of find interesting would be the Patriots and the Steelers. I just think it's pretty much set somehow, some way, even though they're $30 million in the cap red, he's going to somehow end up with the Chiefs. I don't know. I don't think he's going to retire. I think he wants to keep playing, but um, we'll see what he does.
Yeah, I don't think he's only 32 years old. I don't think he's going to retire.
No, I think he has a lot left to go and play for.
Well, yeah, I agree. After that injury, yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, we'll see. It's Tyreek. He is one character. So um, we we shall see. Jay came in at like the worst time. We we were on the last underwhelming team, and then that was pretty much all we had left.
Yeah, I know
We're
he shows
trying,
up at the end of the show.
yeah. So we're trying to catch him back up real quick and get his thoughts because he's a guy that I like having thoughts of or from. Oh boy, his imagery. 2000.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I mean, each player is different. Jay,
Yeah,
we
we
talked
discussed.
about the NBA and in that trash ass All Star weekend, or just how unenjoyable it was to watch. Honest thoughts on the Spurs. Spurs have a good chance. Spurs have a very good chance to make a lot of noise in the West. They already are. Um, to me, they're one of the only maybe other team, maybe the Nuggets, to at least knock off the Thunder. To stop them from going back to back. Because right now, I don't really trust any other team in the West to do it. Just the Spurs and the Nuggets, because Spurs have the Thunder's number for some reason. They just know how to beat them. I mean, again, it helps having 7'5" Victor Wembanyama, but
Well, yeah.
um, there's a bunch of other factors there on the teams as well. Um, yeah, I mean, it'd be good to see a Jay. I'm not there these next two nights at least. I got 2 nights off from work in a row. That hasn't happened, I think, all year yet. So that's it'll feel good to have a few days off.
It's like a
Yeah, I
mini
mean
vacation
Spurs.
for you.
mhm. Yeah, I mean Spurs. Spurs have a really good chance this year. Do I think that they're going to win the finals? No, because of just how young they still are. But um, anything can really happen. Yeah, anything can happen with the Spurs. So, I mean, that's my thoughts in the East. I'll run my thoughts in the East. So, I mean, sorry, Tony. I mean, if you have any thoughts on the Spurs, I don't know how much you've really been watching
Um,
basketball
I'm
recently.
I'm not gonna lie. I really don't get into basketball until after the All Star game
Hmm.
because the first half of the season, football's going and teams are still trying to figure out their rotation and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't usually get into it until after the All Star game because that's when teams have a majority of stuff figured out, and we already have an idea of which teams are actually going to be decent, which teams are going to be trash, and which teams are going to be playoff contenders.
Yeah, and a lot of second half of the NBA season is starting back up. I think tomorrow. My Heat, they're the same Heat that they've been the past couple years. Oh yeah, we both said Bills. We both said Bills on that one. I had them at number three. Tony had them at number one. Um, again, freaking yeah. I think that was the best path for them to finally make it to the Super Bowl. Again, no Pat Mahomes, no Lamar, no Joe Burrow. Um,
Yep.
mhm. And once again, they just didn't do it. They didn't get it done. I understand they went up against a good defense, but they just didn't get it done again. And, the question will come down to, is it the coach or is it Josh Allen? And we will definitely come to find out this upcoming year for sure. Um, with that. I mean, yeah, because they put all the money into that said QB, and then it's tough to get weapons or solid weapons around them uh, at that point. Because again, Keon Coleman, he's all right, but I don't think even the GMs trust him. Shakir's a good option. Again, and then they have the tight ends there, and James Cook. But other than that, I mean, there's really no star-studded, player that they have there as a true number one. I think they will. Jay, me and you talked about Daniel Jones at work a lot. I would go. I would go about 3 years, $45 million for Daniel Jones. I pay him about 15 million a year. I think that's fair. Hey, Tony, don't give me that look. He played good last year. You just submitted it. You just submitted it last earlier that he played good. Um, with what some of these other quarterbacks are getting paid, I would pay him that. I think that's about fair. I don't know about trading Pittman. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but um, he doesn't stay healthy. But I mean, he did this past year. But yeah, I mean, Alec Pierce is a great young talent at the wide receiver spot. So again, I don't see why they wouldn't re-sign Daniel Jones, just with the success that they had with him this past year.
Um, my issue with Daniel Jones is coming off of that injury. Um, I would say he's should be more in the range of the 10 to 12 million. I don't know about 15, just because of the injury. Uh oh.
Oh boy, I'm good. I don't talk about our coaching that we hired this past year or this offseason.
Ooh, Mike McCarthy.
Okay, we got fat white version of Mike Tomlin. He's great for the regular season and the playoffs. Not so much.
I mean, I don't even think he's a fat version of Mike Tomlin because Mike Tomlin's a better coach than McCarthy is. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season.
Yeah, I know. I like our hires on the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator spot, but the head coaches, I think they really messed up on that.
And to be honest, I've never seen players on the Steelers quit under Mike Tomlin like I've seen players quit under Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't rub off and happen here, or I'll be tearing shit up on this podcast weekly uh, about that shit. I won't be having it. Um, I mm,
I think I'll shoot
just
myself.
yeah, just no. I jump. And not for joy. I would not jump for joy, being a Giants fan.
I mean, it could be worse. You could be a Raiders fan.
Yeah, I've had them as a number one overwhelming team. That'd be good.
Ugh.
The Raiders. All right, John, you want to hit us with the sponsors?
So once again, we are sponsored by Doobie. For all you gamers that love to stay up late and need some energy, this was designed perfectly for you. Um, if you go in and order anything, make sure in the promo you use our the code DropZone, and you get 10% off your purchase. Not booby. We also have fashion the clothing line, Zone Elite Wear, and like I said, expect new things coming for the spring. I'm working on a few things. Again, if you order anything and you use and you have a total of $35 or more, use our drop code, promotion code Drop Zone, and you get 15% off your entire order. Yes, I said energy.
pot of coffee a day is crazy. That's crazy.
And we do have a new sponsor, but I don't have all the logistics yet. He just got everything up and running. He should be giving me the information within a couple of days. So maybe next week I will be able to present the new sponsor for you. This sponsor is basically designed towards men. For all you that have facial hair, beards, mustache, yes, our new sponsor is directed towards you for that. Um, did he really just ask if he get a free bra with that promo code?
He did. And that's Jay.
That really caught me off guard.
hmm I read it, shook my head, and moved on.
Yes, facial hair, beards, and mustache.
Yeah, Jay, like your mustache that you have.
So yeah, hopefully next week I'll have all that information for you guys. That's going to be one of our new sponsors as well.
I'm just waiting for the next thing. He's an absolute character. Just
I'm,
waiting.
I'm still perplexed by the fact that he asked me if he gets a free bra.
Mm, that beard is disposable, but the mustache goes nowhere. Understood, understood. It's true.
I don't have anything else.
I don't either. I want to say thank you for everybody who tuned in. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Uh, again, hit us with any ideas that you guys would like to see.
Fuck.
Um, as you see, uh, Jay's back. Um, yeah, just thanks for watching. Tony, just end it before he gets his. uh,
Okay,
oh
I'm
my
done for the
god!
night.
Just end it.
We'll see everybody next week.
See ya.